Hey you, we're going to be talking about the pros and cons of living in Utah. So if you're interested in what it's like to live here in Utah, stick around and you'll find out.
Like our video, subscribe to our channel. We appreciate you guys, and thanks for watching.
If you guys don't know, I'm a realtor here in Utah. So if you're looking to buy or sell a home, please reach out to me. My contact info will be listed in the video. And you can also go download my app, which is super easy. You can text Utah Homes by Andy to the number listed there, or you can just copy and paste that link straight into your browser and it'll download the app right there for you. And that will give you access to all the homes here in the Wasatch Front. Okay, so we're gonna jump right into these pros and cons. So there's so many pros and it's hard to list some cons, but unfortunately there is some cons to living in Utah. But Jana, what's the first pro?
You're always close to nature.
So what does that mean?
That there's always hikes that you can go do in the mountains, and there's just tons of options. We always go down to Provo Canyon, up to Salt Lake City, do the canyons up there, Big Cottonwood Canyon, American Fork Canyon. So there's just so many things that you can go do outside, and obviously you don't even need to go up the canyon. That's just some of the options. But
right, and it's kind of like no matter where you live in Utah, I mean, you can live right on the East Bench and be, 2 minutes away from a hike, or you could live on the west side of the I-15 and just be 15 minutes to a hike. So it's really cool because, all the hikes and all of the nature is really connected very well throughout Utah. And, there's more than just hikes. There's lakes here in Utah that are pretty close. Utah Lake, which is in close proximity to basically the whole valley. And then there's lakes up and past, by Park City and some other towns up there that are more like half an hour, 45 minutes away. But you have access to tons of things, so it's really awesome.
So try to be unbiased for the cons. What's a con of living in Utah?
A con of living in Utah, honestly, is the home prices. So because there's a lot of people moving in, and there has been over the past 20 plus years, it's creating scarcity, especially in the major Salt Lake Valley area. So that means home prices have been going up continuously for the past 20 years. And even right now, because of that scarcity and the amount of people moving in, home prices are at all-time high. And honestly, you'll see a dip whenever there's a recession, but when it cycles back through, those home prices will jump right back up. So that's a definite con. Okay, so let's get back to the good things. What's another pro, babe?
It's a good family environment to live in. It's a very family-friendly place to live. Like, we have if you don't follow us on Instagram, follow us on Instagram, but we feature families every week, and almost every single family, they mention that. So we get little quotes from them about why they love Utah, and almost every single family mentions that they just love it because it's such a family-friendly place to live. There's tons of parks, there's just lots of family-oriented activities to do.
And I agree. I've lived here my whole life. Jana's lived here for a large portion of her life, and my whole life always loved it and always felt very safe growing up.
Not like San Bernardino. Not
like the 909. Okay, since I did the last con, I don't want to talk all this crap on Utah. So you're up. What's another con?
The traffic. So right now there is a ton of traffic, and I think it's largely due to the construction that goes on. So if you know anybody in Lehigh, you've probably heard of the ridiculous construction that's happened. The roads kind of just go like this, and so semis and anybody with trailers and even just normal people in cars, it's impossible to drive on. So that's not fun. I think it's starting to clear up, so that's good, but then the construction's just moving along the freeway, and I think a lot of people would say that Utah is not home to many great drivers. Andy disagrees.
Will debate that point. Utah is home to the best drivers in the world. You'll see that NASCAR is made up 98% of Utahns.
That's not true.
That's a fact.
That's not true.
But I can attest to the construction. I've lived here my whole life, like I said, and there's never been a point where there hasn't been construction on multiple places in the I-15. But hey, it's also a good thing. You can use the I-15 as a model for your life. You know, you can always be working on yourself, just like the I-15, always improving, always, you know, broadening your horizons. So be like the I-15, not only in living in Utah, but in improving yourself.
Andy's the most positive person that I know. But I think they'll have my back in the comments about bad drivers in Utah. So let us know what you guys think of the drivers in Utah.
Okay, we're gonna do another pro. So my turn again. Another cool thing about Utah is that you get all 4 seasons. So in, you know, a place like California, for example, you really, it's just like hot 80% of the time, and then it sort of cools off. Here in Utah, in summer it gets super hot, you know, into the hundreds, and then you get a really nice fall. You know, you get especially if you go up in the mountains, it's really cool. All the leaves changing colors, it's really beautiful. And then winter, you get tons of snow here, and it gets super cold as well. And then in the spring, you know, you get that rainy season, and it's a little bit cooler, but obviously a little bit warmer than winter. So you get to experience it all here in Utah, and that's something I've always really enjoyed.
And I grew up in California, and I like the heat, but I honestly don't mind the winters here compared to North Dakota.
Yeah.
They're not, it's
anything
not that
is
bad.
better than North Dakota.
Yeah, it's not, the winters here aren't that bad if you're coming from California, so.
There's actually no pros to living in North Dakota, it's all cons, so.
Good thing this channel is about Utah.
Okay, so we're gonna have a double con on this one, and Jana's gonna start us out.
Of course. So, a con is the traffic. We already kind of touched on it a little bit, but because so many people are moving in, just the cities are getting kind of congested, and with that comes more smog, and so the air is not the best quality. I mean, you don't have to go far to experience a breath of fresh air, which a lot of people love, but definitely in the city and in the valley, there gets a layer of smog every once in a while.
Yeah, it's just gonna, like, kind of, as more people continue to move in, that smog's just going to continue to get a little bit worse and worse each year. So that's something to keep in mind, is that if you do have like respiratory issues, that can be a red flag of living in Utah, is the air quality. So if you are set on living in Utah, you might want to choose somewhere on the eastern side of the valley, or even just somewhere a little bit outside of, you know, the major metropolitan area of Salt Lake. All right, another pro of Utah is that Utah's economy is really, really good. And the reason for that is because Utah is so business friendly. A ton of people move in, and a ton of people who already live here love to open their own businesses. So everyone knows that small businesses are, you know, the backbone of the United States. And Utah is one of the most business friendly states that you can live in. So if you're looking to, you know, be in a place that encourages that type of economy, Utah is a wonderful place for that.
All right, I'm tired of doing all the cons, so you do one.
Fine. So another con of Utah is, we talked about how the home prices are high. Along with that, rental rates aren't that much better. It's very expensive as far as housing to live in the Salt Lake, Utah County, Davis County areas, because it's kind of because of the same reason, because of scarcity. You have a lot of people moving in, and so these people who own these buildings are able to charge a premium for all these places that they're renting out. And people really don't have a choice if they want to live in a little bit of a nicer place to just pay the rent.
I actually have a friend who just moved out of a condo into a bigger home, and with her home she's renting out a part of it, like a mother-in-law suite, and her mortgage is going to be cheaper than what her rent is. And so
if you're looking to get out of your rental situation, give this guy a call.
That's what I was gonna say.
Go ahead.
I was gonna, if you're, it's okay.
All right, enough of these cons. Let's go back to pros. So another pro of Utah is the public transportation system called the UTA. That includes the Front Runner train, which is for longer distances. So that'll take you to most places throughout the valley, but with fewer stops. Then there's the light rail, which again runs most of the length of the valley, but with much more frequent stops, so you can get to more places with that. And then there's the bus, so that would probably be for shorter distances, more very hyper local with the bus. And you know, if you need to get around in the Wasatch Front, the UTA has plenty of options to do so. So for a con, I'm gonna pass it back over to my beautiful wife.
So although the winters aren't terrible when it does snow, the winter driving is just really bad. Like we said, with the traffic and everything and the congestion. On top of that, the lines are not, what is it called, reflective, and so it just makes it really hard to drive, especially on the freeway in the snow in the winter. Yeah,
and honestly, that's the biggest thing that I don't like, is there non-reflective lines on the roads, because even when it just rains, it's really tough to see the lines. So winter driving, if you've never driven in snow or bad weather before, that can be a big adjustment for you. All right, another pro of Utah is it has an above average education. So throughout the valley, throughout Utah, you're gonna find that the test scores of the Utah students are above the average nationally. So that means that, you know, no matter which school system you end up getting into, as a whole, Utah education system is going to be above average, and so you can count on, you know, your child, wherever you might be, to get a pretty good education. All right, now we're going to cover the elephant in the room. You want to start us out, babe?
Yeah, sure. So some people like it and it can be seen as a pro, and lots of people move here because of it. Some people don't like it, but the Mormon religion in Utah. Go ahead.
Yeah, so Utah was founded by members of the LDS Church, which stands for Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. So that religion is basically embedded into the culture, the politics, everything really. So like Jana was saying, a lot of people like that because there's a lot of members here. They come here and they feel at home because there's a lot of like-minded people as far as the values go. And as a whole, I mean, you can have your opinion on religion, whatever, that's fine. But as a whole, the LDS culture is a very positive, family-friendly environment to be in. And so that's a big part of why there's a lot of good neighborhoods here. It's because there's a lot of members and their values are built around the family and having safe environments and family-friendly places.
Not only do Mormon people move here because of like the culture here, but people that enjoy the family-friendly atmosphere move here because of the family-friendly atmosphere, and the Mormon culture contributes to that.
Right.
Kind of the same thing you were saying,
yeah.
But I figure there's like 3 types of people that live in Utah with the Mormon like category. It's either people that are members, people that think members are just really nice and great and they like living in Utah, and then just people that really hate Mormons. So
yeah,
is that true?
And I guess it's not necessarily hate Mormons, but more of they hate the culture that's created because of Mormons. And
it can be like judgmental.
Yeah, it can be, just because a lot of LDS people, they see someone not reflecting their same values. Obviously, people like to gossip and judge and place themselves above someone else. So you can get that a lot here in Utah. It's very cliquey. So if you're not a member, sometimes you can be alienated. So that's definitely a con.
And certain areas of Utah are worse than others.
Right. And another thing is that in the politics of Utah, the LDS culture is there as well. So a lot of the laws and things that are passed are reflective of those values. Okay, well, that is all we have for you guys for the pros and cons of living in Utah. Thank you so much for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it and I guess got a little taste of what it's like to live in Utah.
Thanks guys for watching, and like, subscribe, comment, let us know if Utah drivers are bad or good.
And remember, if you guys are looking to buy or sell a home, I'm a realtor here in the state of Utah. So reach out to me. My contact info is at the bottom of the video, in the description. And also, if you're looking to buy a house, go download my app. It is so easy. Just text Utah Homes by Andy to the number there, or go ahead and copy and paste that link right into your browser and it'll download the app for you. So go ahead and download it, and you have access to all the active listings there in the Wasatch Front. Again, guys, thank you for watching. We really appreciate you. Go subscribe to the Wasatch Front Living YouTube channel. All right, guys. Peace.